Hello guys, welcome back to the next tutorial. In this one we're gonna talk about the Windows screen object and the kind of information it can provide us. We're gonna talk about that information. So when we talk about the screen object, we always think, okay, we're gonna talk about something related to screen, right? But what it can provide us is the kind of a height of screen, the width of screen, available height and available width of screen, and color depth of the screen. So I have about 6 elements defined up here to print every information that we want to talk about, and let's talk about it. So what it returns is the information that I told, right? Height, width, and all those information. So the height and width, available height and width, they're all represented in terms of pixels. That's very important to remember. It does not represent any other measurement unit. It's the pixels that it returns when we talk about the height and the width. And the important part to remember is when we're talking about height and width, it's not giving us the height and width of the browser on which the web page is running. It's the height and width where the user is accessing the browser from. So if he's accessing the browser from a computer, laptop, desktop, anything, so when we talk about the screen object, it's the actual height and width of the screen where the browser is running, not the height and width of the browser. So it's always the screen that is in picture here. So whenever it returns a property, the value it's for the screen of the user where he's accessing the browser. So let's talk about the first one and let's get started. So the first one I have here is the width. So we want to first fetch the width of the screen. So window dot screen dot width, right? So this is gonna give me the width of the screen on which this browser is running. So let's reload the page and let's see. It returns me 1440 pixels. So that's the width of my current screen. Is 1440 pixels is pretty good, right? So it's a decent resolution. So now let's talk about the available width, height, and the available height. So I'm gonna put all three in the same time. So screen, as we all know, we can use all the window objects without using window as a prefix. So now I'm just using screen. The first one was just to show as an example. So screen dot avail width. So this is gonna give me the available width, and then screen dot height, and then similarly we'll have screen dot avail height, right? So we have all of these, right? So when I talk about the height or width, these are the actual ones, and then I say I have something called available width and available height, then there is a difference, right? So what the difference is, in all our computers, laptops, we either it be Windows or Mac, we have the taskbar, right guys, at the bottom of the screen. Some guys prefer it on the left or right of the screen, some have it on the top of the screen. So that taskbar utilizes some space from the screen. So in that case, the available height or available width to the browser is not exactly the same as the actual height or the width of the browser. So if somebody has the taskbar on the bottom or the top, the available height would be different from the actual height. And if, let's say, if somebody have it on the left or the right of the screen, then the available width would be different from the actual width, because now it's gonna eat up some space from the width of the browser. And in case of left and right, right, if the taskbar is at the top or the bottom, then it's gonna eat up some space from the height of the screen. So now let's print these out and let's see what's the scenario in this case. So when I reload the page, it shows width as 1440 pixels, available width again the same 1440 pixels, but notice guys, the height is 900 pixels but the available height is 790 pixels. So there is a difference in height and available height because I have the taskbar at the bottom of the screen, and that's why it's just showing a different height than the available height. So that's the difference guys between the actual and the available width of the screen and the height of the screen. So now let's talk about the color depth and pixel depth. They are different terms written here, but in reality, in modern computers, they both represent the same thing. They both returns us the number of bits used to display one color. So our computer is colorful, right? We are seeing pretty much everything in color. Everything is colorful these days, right? So what this property returns us the number of bits the computer uses. Like the computer is always 32-bit 64-bit hardware, right? So the number of bits the computer uses to display one color, it's the color depth or the pixel depth. And in modern technology, usually the computers uses about 24 bits or 32-bit hardware for color resolution. So mostly it's gonna be 24-bit or 32-bit. 24-bit is the true color that we call, and 32-bit is the deep color resolution. That's in maybe very high end, but usually it's 24-bit. So, but our older computers, they were only using about 16 bits, when like there were no true or deep colors, there were only high color resolution. And very old computers, maybe from the time of 1970s or 80s, they were only using 8 bits of resolution. And you guys might have heard the term, right? BGA screens, BGA resolutions, right? BGA colors. They only had about 256 different colors, so they were just 8 bits. So they were only using, and the old cell phones, right? The non-smartphones from some long time back, they were only using 8 bits to display the color resolution. So that's about it. This is the property called color depth and the pixel depth. So this is screen dot and color depth, and then similarly we have screen dot pixel depth. So save the page and reload the page here. It shows 24 bits. So my current computer is using the 24-bit hardware for the color resolution. So that's pretty much it I want to talk about in this tutorial, guys. Whenever you want to fetch some details about the user screen from where he's accessing our the browser and our website, the browser and our website, in that case you want to use the screen object to figure out those information about the screen. And that's pretty much it what I want to talk about it. So guys, the files will be there on the web. Download them, use them for the reference, and practice as much as you can. That's the key. And stay tuned for the next lectures. Thanks for attending, guys.